Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be working on the 5.0 Pro Charge motor for my new Edge Mustang. So let's get into today's video. Alright, as you guys have just heard, we're finally going to be starting to tear this thing apart. The first thing to do, because I'm really fighting the urge to just rip everything off of this and put it on an engine stand, take all the pistons and rods out, we might not actually have to do that. It might be a valve issue or valve seat issue, and the easiest way to find out if that's the case is taking this upper intake manifold off and taking the valve covers off as well, and looking down in the motor whilst turning it to see if you have any bent valves, or if you have any valves that are not moving at all. It could be something timing related, it could be a lot of things. So to take a lot of that guessing work out of trying to figure out what's wrong with the motor, we actually have to dive deep into the mechanical side of it, which means, like I said, pulling the valve covers and looking to see what's moving, what's not moving, and just pretty much looking at it. If we go beyond what I said just now, which is we find out that all the valves are moving properly and we can't see anything wrong with the seats, then we pull the heads and take a look at the pistons and rods themselves. But for right now, let's remove the upper intake manifold and the valve covers and just see what we find. Okay, the valve covers are off, and if any of you know about 5.0s, this build just got a whole lot more interesting. It has upgraded rockers. I don't know if those are upgraded push rods, but I'm pretty sure based on this it probably is. And I don't know really for sure, but it definitely looks like these springs are upgraded. And like I said, I know these rollers are as well. I need to pop all of these out, but also we have ARP head studs in this motor. So rockers, possibly springs, possibly ARP head studs, push rods. Either they changed the cam or this might be a built motor. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna roll the motor, make sure all of the rockers are actually moving, which would mean that there's nothing wrong with the timing and none of them are bent or anything like that. As far as I can see, just this one right here looks like it's twisted a bit, like it's turned to the side. Not sure if that would cause an issue, or is it because that spring is down? That might be why it's like that as well. But I have to take all of these loose, and it's looking like we're gonna have to pull these heads off to figure out what's wrong with this thing. All right, like I said, we're gonna check to see if we can get this thing to roll using a 24mm socket, and we're just gonna watch these and see if any of them don't move or if we have an issue with them. The thing is, it's moving so easily. Well, that confirms that everything is moving the way that it should. I don't know if any of you guys saw an issue just now while they were moving, but I think it's time to get these headers off and remove these heads and take a look at the bottom end. All right, so I got the bright idea from the guy that I rent from in the shop, Charlie, to loosen up all the rockers to ensure that the valves are closed. We have a compression tester fitting in here. We're gonna add air to the cylinders. We're gonna push the pistons all the way down, and if it leaks out of the exhaust or the intake, we know that that's where our compression issue was. If we check all of these for leaks and none of them leak, it just means that they didn't have these set properly, and we just need to go through them and set them. That would be hilarious, that we pull the motor out of a car just to set these, but it's a part of the process. And I'm gonna start this now and just keep track of what is what, and I'll write them down if any of them leak, so when we pull the heads I'll know what to look for. So this genius right here, Charlie, gave me the idea to take all the rockers off to ensure that the valves are closed. Put a compression tester in them, fill them with air using a compressor. I couldn't really record that process because it takes 2 hands to do, and all of them now are holding pressure. The rockers were set too tight, so they weren't closing the valves all the way, and that's why we were getting no compression on a lot of those cylinders. And we finally know what was wrong with this motor. So we could have done this in the car. I mean, I guess we wasted a lot of time doing that, but you live and learn. And I need to go figure out how to set those rockers properly, because they're actually aftermarket, I think 1.6 rockers, and I'm not really sure what that means. That probably has to do with the push rod. But so far we're looking extremely good for putting it back together. And we gotta probably order the Terminator X kit just to hear it run on the ground and see what it does from there. But for right now, as I got to see those pistons come up with the spark plug hole, it looks like this thing has a aftermarket piston in it. Can't really be sure what it is, but I'll have to get a camera down in here to try and get a picture of it. But so far so good. All of the valves are now seating. I also learned a trick from Charlie that some of them were leaking, and I just had to tap them, and they blew whatever debris was causing it not to seal out, and they seated again. So when I set the rockers in the next video, we're gonna hook up a battery to it, roll this thing over, and hopefully after that we have compression. Oh, also, while you guys are watching the video, I know we have a lot of 510 guys that watch this channel. A few of my rockers were like halfway off of the valve itself, and it like was off to the side a little bit. Anyone has any idea why that might be? They were just, all of them were pretty much straight, and some of them were off to the side just a little bit. Looked like they were halfway onto the valve itself. I'm pretty sure it still was pushing the valve down, but it was just off to the side a bit. Alright guys, and there you have it. The 5.0 motor should be just fine. This thing looks like it has pistons in it. It has ARP head studs. It has most likely a cam, rockers, push rods. This thing is probably a built motor. I'm not sure who built it, but it's looking like we just need to set those rockers and we should be good to go, because all the valves are now seating and they're not leaking any air past out of the exhaust or intake valves. So definitely that's a win for us, that we don't have to pull these heads and we don't have to tear this motor down. And in the next video we're going to be setting those rockers and making sure that this thing is compression tested, and check the numbers on that. Once we get a okay on those compression numbers, it'll be time to get the Holley Terminator S kit and start this thing on the ground. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, don't drift without your dreams. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.